Hi. Um, so this is my challenge week final reflection part two because um yeah, I messed up the first video. Okay, let's do this again. So for challenge week evening, um each of us were asked to reflect on a different part of our challenge week experience, and so I chose to reflect on education because we went to Siem Reap and we taught children at both Savong School and at the orphanage, and also the lessons I learned as a leader of a challenge week group. So um, let's start with education. So when we taught the children, they barely knew the alphabet. They were around 9 or 10, but some of them were older, and all of them had been to this school for quite a bit of time, and they had been learning English before, but it was still so hard for them. Like a lot of them, the younger ones still had problems with learning the alphabet, and they were already 10. And then the older ones, they were around our age. They were like some of them were 16, 17. Um they were still struggling with grammar, like really basic grammar, like comparatives and superlatives, stuff like that. And so when we taught them, it was a bit of an eye opener because we had gone in to challenge week thinking they would have a better grasp of English, but they didn't. So we had to go right to the basics, and that was kind of hard for us because a lot of us in this group were native speakers or were capable of like harder English. So it was kind of hard for us to revert back to basic grammatical rules and basic adjectives and nouns. It was really different, and it was really weird teaching people our age such basic things. And um, but that wasn't the only weird thing that we experienced. Oh, it wasn't weird. It was just something very different, and it wasn't something that we were used to, especially in Singapore and in an international school where everyone speaks English. So that was one experience. And another experience we had at the school was a teacher we were working with, because there was a teacher assigned to us. He kept asking me and my partner about how the Singapore education worked, how the education system worked, sorry, and how much was university in Singapore, and how much was a ticket to Singapore, and what the career market in Singapore was like. And obviously we didn't know how to answer most of these questions, and the amount of questions related to Singapore made all of us really uncomfortable. But the truth is uncomfortable. We don't like thinking about the uncomfortable truth that millions of people want to leave their country for a better life, and they use education as a means of escape. Uh, we don't like knowing that millions of children are just not learning and they don't have the same opportunities as us. But challenge week pushes you into that world and reminds you of these facts over and over again, that people don't have your life, they have their own lives, and sometimes these lives are much harder. And it's just so great that we're given this opportunity to help them. And coming from a third world country myself, because I lived I'm Filipino and I've lived in the Philippines my whole life before moving to Singapore. And so I've seen poverty affect children, and I've seen and met children who don't go to school anymore. They just go to work because they need to support their family, because maybe their father doesn't have a job, or because there's so many siblings that they have to be the good older sibling and take care of everyone. And it's so much to take in, and it's so much responsibility for kids this young, or for kids our age even, to take on. But it's the truth, and we don't like being reminded of it, but Challenge Week does that, and it reminds us that we have the responsibility as people with more resources, and people who have more. We have this responsibility to give to the people who have less. Okay, so that was the first thing I learned in Challenge Week. It was a big reminder, and so moving on to the second thing, what I learned as a leader. I learned that Challenge Week is not just a week. The name is very misleading. It's a whole year. it's a year of planning, of stressing over the planning, of stressing over more planning, of stressing over the group, of stressing over people not pulling their weight, of stressing over balancing all this additional stress to your school life and to your personal life. And projects like this, they're huge, and that means they're a lot of work, especially when you're one of the leaders. And so I was leader, and I learned that not everyone's going to agree with you, and I've learned to just accept that, because everyone has their own opinion and you can't please everyone. You have to learn how to make the right call. And I've learned that people can fight and argue, and as a leader, I've learned how to mediate. But I think most importantly, I learned that leaders can make mistakes, because over the course of Challenge Week and the planning for Challenge Week, I've made so many mistakes. I've made the mistake of not listening to everyone in the group, of only listening to myself, and I've learned that I'm not very good at diffusing arguments. And I felt terrible for making all these mistakes, but eventually a solution was reached. And the reason a solution was reached was because this is not a one-man thing. You're a whole group. You're a group of 11 people. And it was my group that reminded me that I was the leader, and they reminded me that they supported me, but I had to learn how to make the right decisions. Your group is there to support you. They're not there to antagonize you or make you seem like a bad leader. They're there they're there as your support. They're there to back you up. So being a leader is not just a one-man job, it's a group effort. So to summarize, I've learned about education and how it's important, and how we need to help other people. We can't be selfish in our own little bubbles, in our own little world here in Singapore. We have to reach out and join services that help other people, that truly, actually help people. And it can be in small ways or it can be in big ways, but what matters is that we're making an impact in our own way. And it's really good that we get to go through Challenge Week, because it allows us this opportunity to leave an impact, even though I feel it's not big enough, but I guess it'll never be big enough. That's what people always feel like, and that sounds cliche, and it sounds like a song lyric, like, make the world a better place. But everything that's been said, like, all of it does sound cliche, but it's true. They have a ring, they ring true. So we really do have to try and work hard to make this world a better place. And I've also learned about being a leader and how it's okay to make mistakes, but ultimately, projects are a group, a team effort. It can't just be you. The burden doesn't fall on just your shoulders. It falls on everyone's shoulders, and they're all there to help guide you as a leader to reach your ultimate goal. So that is my thing. How do I end this? Do I just click? I just click, right? I'm gonna just click the button. So you had to listen to that whole reflection. Okay, I'm just end this. Okay, bye.